Hi, this is Megan, and this is Stockholm. This is our webcast, More Food. With each episode, I'll show you how to get 3 items from 1. And a few tricks to impress your foodie friends. Welcome to my kitchen. I just wanted to put a few notes about this part of episode 1. What have I learned about shooting so far? I need a mic. So I got a small mic for the next episode, but this unfortunately still doesn't have a mic. So that's my advice. Buy a small microphone, or you can do the cheap method of shouting. I'm not a shouter. Besides that, some points on this paella. Paella is a dish that's a Spanish dish, and it's going to be a little more complicated, or I shouldn't say complicated, a little more complex than the other 2 dishes we've done. Don't let that put you off. Give it a try. I hope we've explained it, clear enough. The good thing about paella is it's rustique, and you can kind of do whatever you want. There's so many varieties of it. Don't do it for a fancy dinner party right off the bat, but try with some loving, caring, and patient people, and give it a try. The Spanish like to have this lovely caramelized, crunchy layer at the bottom of their paella. It can be a little scary because you don't want to burn it, but you want to kind of have this beautiful kind of caramelized crust. And I think you'd call it the socorat. I'm sure I'm not going to pronounce that right. But if you do want to give it a try, if you're feeling saucy and like a minx, you go in there and after you've finished your paella, do a really high heat for 1 minute, and that's it. You're going to hear the rice crackling and popping. Then you take it off the heat. Only 1 minute. 1 minute. Don't do something crazy like crocheting or something on the side while you're doing this. Just 1 minute. And then take it off the heat. Wrap it up in foil and let that rest for 10 minutes while you're doing your other little bits and bobs. Okay, hi, hello. Now we're going to make paella, which is the 3rd dish in our chicken series. And it's in our series because we're using the bouillon, or the stock that we've made, in the dish. And we're also using the leftover chicken meat from our dinner the other night. So that is why we're using it. Okay, so first thing is first is we're going to make a sofrito, which is a green pepper, onion, and garlic mix. And some people might say that the paella, or paella as you would say in the UK, is the Spanish risotto. And this is Spanish, not Mexican food. Don't get confused. Mexican different, Spanish different. 2 different things. Doing Spanish today. But the difference in the risotto and the paella is that the risotto is a little more fluid and oozing, and the paella not so much so. And the rice is, we'll get to that. Alright, so I've got my trusty knife, and I'm going to show you how I chop up vegetables. I'm not professional, so you can give or take it. You can, tell me to saw it off or whatever. I'm going to show you what I do. So for the pepper here, we're going to use 2 peppers because they're small, but you can use like 1 gigantic pepper for this recipe. It's up to you and what you find. Please do. If not, tell me to jump in a link. Okay, so I'm just taking the sides off, basically. And what that does is get rid of all of these bit and a bob in here. So there you go. Voila! And then we're going to go into strips because we want to fine dice on this. You get the strips out, and then you just do. I don't do the whole thing with knuckles, but someday I'm going to be like lightning. It's going to be so exciting. Okay. I find the onion, and this is always pretty tricky. Usually I like to wear swim goggles because I weep, but of course if you have a sharper knife, you're not supposed to cry as much, but I always cry. It's how it goes. So keep this guy on so so it doesn't disintegrate on you while you're doing this. Some people, when they're dicing, go from the side through the layers, but I'm going to have this quirky way of standing it on end, which probably won't work. Ah, crap, it did, because I'm showing you. You're not supposed to cut the clear off the top, but you know, I'm a little nervous. I want to impress you. And then we do slice the other way. If you have a small paring knife, it might be easier for you to do this part. Can you tell I'm not a professional? Okay, and then you're just going to come as fine a dice as you want this way. If it takes you time, I don't use the end, but maybe you can put it in a stock or something. And we use 2 cloves of garlic. I also want to dice this. I have no special tricks for garlic. So I'm going to make the matchsticks. Turn it around, line it up. Doing these jobbies. Don't cut your finger off. You know, you're supposed to do it like that. I still haven't mastered it yet. Come back to me in 2 years. Okay, so dirty cutting board. We've done all that with the sofrito, fine dice. What else we're going to do is we're going to use the tomatoes that we have left over from when we had the green beans, and we had put them in a Tupperware container so that they didn't go bad. You don't want to just throw them in the tin in your fridge because they won't stay as nice. So there we have the whole tomatoes, and we're just going to dump them in and kind of chop them up as we cook. Let's chat rice. So we have the rice here, which is Spanish bomba rice, which is what we use for paella, but if you don't have that, you could find risotto rice. It does almost the same thing, but if you can find the bomba rice, maybe online or at specialty shops, otherwise the risotto rice. And if you can't find that, you could try, I don't know, you could go crazy and try basmati or jasmine, but parboiled we found doesn't work. So it's up to you and whatever interpretation you want to have. And we understand if you can't find those, do what you can. Also, let's see, oh, I should tell you the measurements. This is going to be 275 grams if you're in the UK, 1 1/3 cup in the States, and 3 deciliters if you're in Sweden of the rice. We're going to have stock that we made, the lovely homemade stock. Everything's just disintegrating today. The stock will be 750 milliliters or 3 1/3 cups in the States. And then also we're going to have saffron, which is one of the most expensive spices in the galaxy, I think, which comes from the saffron crocus. And each flower has 3 of these stems in them, and they're hand-picked, which is why it's so expensive. It's a really lovely flavor that you find in Spanish cooking a lot. So you're going to do a good pinch of that. You want to get it heated up to start with. But I just want to say, when you're abroad, if you're going to Morocco or some other place where you can buy saffron, just make sure it's real saffron, because sometimes they'll try and sell you stuff that isn't real, and you get it home and it doesn't work. But you can notice kind of the color variance at the end of some of the stems in this saffron, and that's how you can tell it's real. Also the smell, and if you get into liquid, it will really kind of change into a really beautiful yellow color. So that, and then last but not least, pimenton, smoked paprika. This is really lovely smoky taste, and you can either get it in picante, which is what we're going to use, or a milder flavor. This again is like the bomba rice. If you have a Whole Foods near you or someplace like that, or if you want to go online to buy it, it's a really nice addition to your kitchen. But if you don't have it, you can use regular Spanish paprika instead. We're going to use ½ teaspoon of that. So, yeah, I think I've got all my gooses in a row. Geese. I've got all my geese in a row. So let's go back.
Add your olive oil to the pan to heat up for your sofrito. And maybe just a little more. Add your onion, peppers, and garlic mixture and spread evenly on the pan. You want to cook these down gently until they get softened or translucent. Once those have cooked down, you want to kick in your saffron and your pimentón, which is fancy talk for smoked paprika. You can leave this to really cook till it gets really nice and brown. You don't want to burn it, but you can brown it. Some people add tomatoes at this point, but we're going to do that later. So add your rice and spread it around and coat it, and then get an even layer across your pan. This is probably the first time I've ever forgotten to add the booze, but at this point you would add the booze, cook it down and get the alcohol taste off. Now add your tomatoes after you've done the alcohol and stir them around, chop them up a bit. And of course you can see, add your stock, get it in there, and now this is going to be the last time you give that little stir, and then you're going to leave it. Now don't touch, I'm watching you, don't you stir that. You're going to bring it up to a boil on high heat. And throughout this, don't stir it, you can shake the pan a little. Once the rice starts to poke through a bit, now turn your heat down to a simmer. This for about 10 or 15 minutes. Then take off the heat and cover with foil and let it rest for another 10. We fried up some Spanish chorizo on the side and some prawns on a high heat. Now time to assemble. Add your leftover cooked chicken meat, the chorizo, and the prawns. And if you're a saucy little minx, garnish with lemon wedges. Ooh, enjoy.